Years ago, I was on a train in the south of France. It was late afternoon and I was completely entranced by that golden Provençal light that plays on the hilltop villages that are surrounded by lavender fields and vineyards. And something in me knew that I would live there someday. I carried that for more than 25 years without being able to do much about it. Have you ever felt a pull like that? One that doesn't let go even when it seems a little or even a lot crazy? Something you know is the right path for you eventually? In this video, I'm going to show you exactly what it took for me to finally decide to make this move to France and how you can use it to help make your leap. For a long time, it wasn't the right time for me to move to France. And what I had to learn was how to tell the difference between it isn't time yet and I'm just afraid to take the leap. I'm Jenny Luther. I'm a doctor and professor of Chinese medicine and acupuncture with 26 years of clinical experience, and this is Practical Natural Wellness. And just a reminder, I'm a doctor of Chinese medicine, not your medical doctor, and everything in my videos is only for education. So, France, I did it. I am here. I live in Provence, France now. And it's been a bit more than 9 months since we landed here. And it has been an incredible ride and sometimes a very hard one, both from a practical point of view, but also from an emotional one. And I'll keep opening up about this in future videos, but today I just want to talk about how we made this decision to make this leap. How I knew it was the right time, even though it was often terrifying, and sometimes still can be. For 25 years, there were real and valid reasons why it wasn't the right time to move to another country. Kids, money, career, life. But then, as they do, things slowly changed. And it wasn't that I suddenly woke up super brave one day and decided to do it. It was really an accumulation of a stretch of major life transitions, of losses of people close to us, and we even lost our sweet old geezer Murphy dog. All of that was topped off by the pandemic, which of course was what it was to everyone. But then I got some autoimmune issues that cropped up that were scary enough to make me realize that I might not be able to do the things that I wanted to do if I waited too long. It had become painfully obvious how short and unpredictable and precious life is. And that's when I stopped being scared of taking the leap. And I realized I was more scared of not actually living. That was the door. I knew that I couldn't physically keep doing the same level of in-person treatment that I had been doing. I also knew that without that, we'd have to make some major and challenging life decisions. We were in our early 50s, and retirement just kept getting pushed farther and farther away. Everything felt more and more like a trap that we did not know how to get out of. So my husband Kyle and I put everything on the table. The kids were through high school. Well, Sophie was about to graduate, but it was that year that she was a senior. And we were both feeling our age and realizing that there is less time ahead of us than behind us. Our life was really lovely, but it had started to feel stagnant, comfortable, but kind of constricting. And things that used to satisfy us just didn't satisfy us in the same way. We weren't depressed. We were just changing. And things like that, my friends, are signs that it's time to make a change. And maybe you're starting to think about some things that are keeping you from acting on your knowing, that have started feeling a little bit flat or just not right anymore for you. And to be clear, I am not talking about things being difficult. Life is hard sometimes. And to make big leaps, you have to be willing to do hard things you don't know how to do yet, and be willing to figure it out, whatever it takes. But when it's the right path, when it's your knowing, there is a rightness to it. Like the path is lighting up, and it's just opening in front of you, and your way is clear. And even when it doesn't look sensible or practical, and even when you can't be sure how it will turn out, but your body and your heart feel it, that this is the right path. Our bodies have so much to say if we listen. As for me, I had been circling this idea of living in France for years, as I mentioned. But it wasn't just a dream. I had really been researching and digging into all the possible ways that I might end up in France, like even if I had to move somewhere else in Europe first. We weighed options, we traveled, we did all these things trying to figure it out. Until one day, after shelving it more than once, it all just clicked. And literally in one conversation, although that was built on all of those years of circling and research, and more importantly, that deep knowing, it all just clicked. It was a Saturday morning in April, about a year and a half ago. And once again, we were talking about the pros and cons of a move like that and what it would be like to live in this different country and all the things you talk about. But all of a sudden, there was just this sense of flow. Like all the pros were suddenly outweighing the cons. And our feeling of stuckness and need for change outweighed the difficulties. And I looked at Kyle and I said, "So, are we moving to France or what?" And he looked at me like he was a little surprised by what he was about to say. And he said, "Yeah, I think so." And from there, it was like greased lightning. From that morning until the day we left the US was just 6.5 months. Visas, selling my practice, creating a whole new business plan that would have to grow to support our life and future, selling our house, our cars, literally sorting through everything in our life to clear the path, including some really big emotions. We could have taken more time, come back to it in a few months the way we always had before, but we didn't. We decided, and then everything kept lining up. The path was open in front of us, and the way was clear, and so we jumped. And once you really decide something like that, it tends to move pretty fast, as long as you are willing to take the necessary steps, one after another. All of it happens fast and big and sometimes scary, and there are real consequences that mean that we have to make it work. We have to make it work. But we've researched it really well, and we understand what it would take as much as you can understand something like that before actually doing it. And we were able to set some money aside, so we had a little parachute and a lot of experience to make this business plan feasible. But mostly, we had a lot of willingness to make the leap, the mistakes, to keep doing it, and to see it through. So, how can you tell that it's the right time to leap, to follow your knowing? All the pieces that came together for us, including the timing, are versions of the same skill that I use every day in my work, reading a pattern instead of overriding it. My body had been trying to tell me something for a long time, that knowing. But also, my body was telling me that I wasn't doing the right thing, screaming at me sometimes that things needed to change. And I also needed to be real about the other patterns in my life, raising kids, finances, health. Learning to listen to all of that is the same discernment, pattern recognition, that let me recognize that my knowing was real instead of one more someday to file away. In Chinese medicine and Taoist philosophy, there's actually a principle called Wu Wei, action through non-action, not forcing, moving with timing that arises naturally. The same way that Yangsheng teaches you to live with the seasons instead of against them, knowing when something is ripe for harvesting. That's an art that you can learn. For years, some of my waiting really was reading that. It wasn't time, it wasn't ripe. But sometimes what looked like prudence and patience was really just avoidance, because staying where I was was just more comfortable and much easier than the fear of leaping. So how do you tell the difference between a signal that you're supposed to sit with to let ripen and a signal you're using patience as an excuse to avoid it? France was just the shape that my knowing took. So what is your France? Name it. It does not need to be a whole plan, and it doesn't mean that you need to leap just because you name it. But just do it. Just name this one thing that has been calling you. That's where you start. Because once you can name it honestly, you really can start to figure out, what would that look like in your life? The good, the bad, and the just different in a more objective way. And then you keep checking in with your gut, with your knowing in your body, to feel into what that would really look like in your life each step of the way. If you would like somewhere to work through that, I'm releasing my first online course, The Pivot, in September. And that's exactly what it's built for, to help you figure out what it is that's been calling you and how you can take some steps to move towards it. You can join the waitlist with the link that's in the description box below. And once the course is live, the link will take you right to the course registration. I'm also taking some one-on-one coaching clients if you would like to go deeper sooner or with more detail. And you can also join my newsletter, and we'll let you know the moment the class is live and for all the upcoming things as well. If any of this resonates with you, please hit like and subscribe. It really helps other people find us. And there's a lot more of this story coming, plus what it took to do it, and I would really love for you to be here for it. So tell me in the comments, what's your France? What is your knowing? And next time I'll show you what came after we said yes. The part where doing it scared was what mattered. Your body gives you a pattern, and sometimes your life does too. And this is the difference between reading it and ignoring it. Just remember, life is for living, my friends. I'm Dr. Jenny. A biento.